We are observing Kartik VRATA. We are going through Śikṣāṣṭaka. Yesterday we finished 6th verse. Today, 7th. We'll start. What are the internal symptoms of perfection? 7th verse. Jugaitam nimeshena chakshusha prabrishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virohename. O Saki, in separation from Govinda, even a moment seems like a millennium to me. Tears begin to shower from my eyes like rain from the clouds, and this entire world seems void to me. Commentary by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. Rati has been described in the previous shloka. When bhakti is endowed with this rati, it assumes the form of sthayi bhav, which refers to the ruling emotion of the heart in one of the 5 transcendental relationships with Shri Krishna. When it then, our Gurudev told, sometimes we are thinking, I am a cowherd boy, sometimes gopi, like this. It is not fixed. That is not yet bhava stage. When it is permanent, sthayi bhav, then you can know you are well established in bhav. So when this rati or sthayi bhav mixes with the other 4 bhavas, that is vibhava, anubhava, sattvika bhava, and vyabhichari bhava, it is transformed into the relishable experience known as bhakti rasa. In that state, the anubhavas and sattvika bhavas of bhakti are fully exhibited. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami establishes the definition of prema in the following words. Samyan masrinita svanto mama tvati shayankitaha bhava sa eva sandratma buddhai prema nigadyate. Bhava bhakti, which melts the heart much more thoroughly than in its beginning stage, thus making it completely soft, which produces supreme exultation of transcendental bliss, and which gives rise to a very deep sense of possessiveness, mamata, in relationship to Shri Krishna, is called prema by learned persons. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is there. More putra, more saka, more prananath. Means my friend, my son, my beloved. So this mamata, when it is there, possessiveness, Krishna is mine, then it is prema. According to the philosophical conclusion of this verse, bhava bhakti, which is fully matured owing to the upsurge of a very powerful sense of mamata in relationship to Shri Krishna, should be understood to be prema. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is described that Shri Krishna is the Vishaya or object of prema for the devotees. They love him, so he is Vishaya. The devotees are the ashraya or receptacle of prema for Krishna, those who have. Sometimes also said ashraya is abode of prema, one who has prema for Krishna. In the mutual exchange of love between Krishna and the devotees, 5 types of relationships are possible: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. These 5 primary relationships are known as Mukhya Rati. In each of these, there is a particular ruling emotion, known as the Sthayi Bhāv, that which is permanent. Krishna is my son, for example. In Shanta, the ruling emotion is Shanti Rati, tranquility. In Dasya, the ruling emotion is Priti Rati, affection in servitude. In Sakya, the ruling emotion is Sakya Rati, affection in friendship. In Vatsalya, the ruling emotion is Vatsalya Rati, parental affection. And in Madhura, the ruling emotion is Priyata Rati, affection in conjugal love. When these 5 types of Mukhya Rati combine with the sentiments of Vibhava, Anubhava, Satvika Bhava and Vyabhichari Bhava, then affection becomes converted into the relishable sentiment known as Mukhya Bhakti Rasa, as described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Mukhyastu panchada shantah pritah preyamscha vatsala maduras cheti amigeya yatha purvam anuttamah. Mukhya rasa is of 5 varieties: Shanta, tranquility; Prita or Dasya, servitude; Preyan or Sakya, friendship; Vatsalya, parental affection; and Madhura, conjugal love. Each one of these is successively better than the previous one. The primary ruling emotion is always present in a devotee who has awakened prema for Krishna, and it is therefore known as Sthayi Bhav, permanent emotion. Yet, sometimes the devotee's ruling emotion recedes and gives nourishment to secondary emotions known as Gaunarati. So, at first, we are having that type of relationship. Krishna is Supreme Lord, we are His eternal servant. So it is our duty to serve Him, that is in fervent reverence, in Vaidhi Bhakti. But when heart is purified, then on the stage of Asakti, 5th verse, then you will get that some glimpse of your relationship in Lila, Krishna Lila. Then in Bhava Bhakti, you will attain it, and then in Prema it will be fully blossomed. So that is Sthayi Bhav. But sometimes Gauna Rati also comes, secondary, now it will be explained. Gauna Rati is of 7 types, and when they combine with the emotions of Vibhava, Anubhava, Satvika Bhava and Vyabhichari Bhava, they produce the relishable sentiments known as Gauna Rasa. Bhava is not yet Rasa. Rasa comes on Prema stage. That is why you have in Bhagavatam Bhavukas and Rasikas. Rasika is one who is tasting Rasa. So in Rasa, all these ingredients must be mixed. And there is Mukhya Rasa, primary, that Shanta Dasya, and this is Gauna Rasa, also Rasa but Gauna. And all these 7 means 5 primary and 7 secondary are possible only in Nandanandan Krishna, in no one else. Only in him all full rasas are possible, in no other avatar. These are described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Gauna Rasa. Hasyo dbhutas tatha vira karuno raudra iti api bhayanaka savibhatsa iti gaunascha saptada. Gauna Rasa is of 7 varieties: Hasya, laughter; Adbhuta, astonishment; Vira, heroism, Karuna, compassion, Raudra, anger, Bhayanaka, fear, and Vibhatsa, disgust. Out of the 5 types of Mukhya Rasa, Madhura Rasa is the highest. As the intensity of Priti or love for Krishna increases within the Mukhya Rasas, it takes the form of Prema, Pranaya, Mana, Sneha, Raga, Anuraga, and Mahabhava. So these are the stages of Prema. Development of Priti, that is love, from Rati, that is Bhav, first that ingredient, permanent one, emotion, up to Mahabhava. Now it will be explained how this is happening. Rati. The development of Priti is described in Priti Sandarbha. That is Jiva Goswami he wrote. You remember that Brajen Singh, yes, he was so intelligent, he finished all subjects there were in universities, and all with excellency. There was no subject which he did not finish. And always he was thinking something, and after he died, the British government that time in India, they wanted to give 1 lakh rupees. That time this was huge money to get his brain, dead body, brain, to see what is there, how is his brain. But they don't know what Gurudev told, that personality is connected with conscious principle, means Atma. When Atma is present, then there is knowledge and feelings and everything, thinking, feeling, willing. And as much as developed consciousness, so much is his personality. But of that body, you cannot get any knowledge, mathematics. But the British, they don't understand this, so they thought something it is there in his brain. That is why he was so intelligent. So he was very famous as very intelligent. So he told that Priti Sandarbha is the jewel in this world. If someone does not read Priti Sandarbha, then his life is useless. So there was another Ganguly. He did not like Mahaprabhu's teaching, but when he heard this Brajen Singh, of whom he was fan, that he said about Priti Sandarbha, then he studied. First with some scholars, but he did not get clear understanding. Then they told him, you will have to study with some devotee. So then one devotee was explaining to him Priti Sandarbha and also quoting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching from Chaitanya Charitamrita without telling it is Chaitanya Charitamrita, because that man already had some aversion to Mahaprabhu, seeing bad practices of some sahajiyas like this. But when he was hearing those verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, then he asked, from where you are quoting this? These are your verses or this is some book? Then he told it is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then he became, this person Ganguly, he became inspired to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. When he read that, and also Priti Sandarbha, then he understood that Mahaprabhu's teaching is the highest. And then he made one temple of Mahaprabhu in Bolpur. And maybe Bolpur, Shantiniketan, something, one place where our Parangurudev and Gurudev went there for preaching. They were invited by some. So they were in that temple and Harikatha, Then they asked Parangurudev, do you know who established this temple? Then he said no. Then they told him that Ganguli, and he was also famous. So they told you should meet him. Then Parangurudev and Gurudev went to meet him, and then he told this history. I had no faith in Mahāprabhu at first. But just because that person said about Priti Sandarbha, then I was listening, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita, then my mind changed. So Priti Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami. It is about ultimate goal of life, Prayojan Tattva. There it is very clearly explained about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and Priti or Krishna Prema. And very clearly it is shown how Priti or love for Krishna is supreme goal. So there it is described this. Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura is quoting from there. The initial stage of Priti is known as Rati or Bhav. And it is defined as follows. Tatrolasa matradhikya vyanjika priti rati. Yasyam jatayam tat ekam tat paryam anyatra tuchatva buddhishcha jayate. Priti, which is predominated only by a feeling of ulas or elation, is called Rati. Because this Priti arises from Rati, it is exclusively fixed on Shri Bhagavan. All other things which are not related to the Lord are considered as worthless. Priti, which extends only to the level of Rati, is indicative of Shantarasa. There is not yet Prema. Priti means affection, or yes, affection, love also, but in this case it comes only to Shantarasa. Then Priti, which increases to the level of Prema, is defined as follows. Mama tati shayavir bhavena samrida priti prema. Yasmin jate tat priti bhanga hetavo yat iyam udyamam swarupam va na glapayitum ishate. When Priti is augmented due to the appearance of a strong sense of mamata in relationship with Shri Krishna, it is called Prema. Mamata means Maya. He is mine. On the appearance of Prema, Priti is so deep that even though multiple causes may appear to bring about a break in affection, they are completely unable to dampen either the enthusiasm or the fundamental character of that love. Priti, which extends to the level of Prema, is indicative of Dasya Rasa. The character of Prema in Dasya Rasa is illustrated in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Dvishadbih kshodishter jagat avihate chasya bhavata karat akrishyeva prasabham abhimanyav apihate subhadraya pritir danujadamana tvat vishaika prapede kalyani nahi malini manam lavam api. Shri Narada spoke to Krishna. O slayer of the demons, in this world no one can oppose your will. Everything is happening according to your desire. Yet it was from your hands that Abhimanyu was forcibly snatched away and killed by trifling enemies like Karna and Jayadratha. Nonetheless, Subhadra's endearing love for you was not tarnished even in the least. Because that is in Lila. In Tattva, Krishna, nothing goes against. But in Lila, this is for the sake of Lila. It appears like he was snatched from Krishna. So because of her relationship, here, further it says, Subhadra was the younger sister of Krishna, and therefore she had the attitude of being cared for by Krishna, which comes under the heading of Gaurava Priti, a division of Dasya Rasa. She knew that without Krishna's sanction, her son Abhimanyu could never have been killed. Yet her prema for Krishna was not affected. This is the symptom of prema. Nothing can happen in this world without Krishna sanctioning. That is why everything what is happening is for the eternal benefit of all. But we are not able to realize this. Krishna is giving the fruit. That is why those who are surrendered to Krishna's will, they are always calm and serene. Because Krishna is all good. Our once Srila Bharati Maharaj in Chandigarh Park, we were speaking something, then he said that verse, Tatenu Kampam Susamikshamanam. Then he asked me, what is the meaning of this? Then I said that the real devotees, by their perfect vision, they see that everything what is going on is good. Then Bharati Maharaj said, not good, best, he said. Not good, best, it is for the best of all. And our Parangurudev also, he always, whenever something happened, outwardly seemed like unfavorable. With that also, they tried to steal, or what is the word in English? To forcibly take that birthplace of Prabhupada in Puri. Some devotees, and there was some problem. Then Parangurudev said, it is all for the best. Now we have to give more effort. So, and also Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj also told that story in front of Parangurudev and other Vaishnavas. Our Gurudev also heard, and Parangurudev liked very much that story, but no one knows from where he got it. Maybe in some Shastra or by revelation. You know that king, in one kingdom, there was one king and his prime minister was pure devotee. And whenever anyone lost something or there was some difficulty or something, then that prime minister used to pacify him. You don't know what you did in your past. Like maybe up to some point we can remember, but in past life, like this we don't remember. So you don't know what you did in your past. And you don't know what will happen in the future. By seeing this loss in present moment, you should not be disturbed. Because by the grace of Krishna, it is lessened. It should be more. But by His grace, it is less. So you don't worry. And in this way, He used to pacify. Then, when one day king went to hunt in the forest, that time Kshatriyas were doing this, when there is peaceful time, no war, so to practice archery, they are allowed, only Kshatriyas. So he went with Prime Minister and all the soldiers, and the soldiers went one direction and King and Prime Minister another, and then King saw one beast and he wanted to shoot with the bow, but by some mistake that arrow cut this finger, by which bow is held. somehow, maybe he pulled too much. Then arrow cut one finger. Not fully cut off, but cut was there and blood was coming out. Then king became too much disturbed. He was too much disturbed. Then prime minister, he knew some Ayurvedic principles, so he took some herbs and somehow he managed to stop that bleeding. And then he told to king, and king was lamenting so much. Oh, what happened? Disaster, catastrophe, how I will do now my work and fighting. Then prime minister said, my dear king, you don't know what you did in your past. You don't know what will happen in future. By Krishna's grace, it is lessened. Then king became more angry. He said, oh, you don't know. But with cut finger, how I can fight? How I can do this work? If this would happen to you, you would also say everything by the grace of Krishna. Or you will also say, then that prime minister, yeah, it is for all. It is applicable to all. Then king remained silent, but internally he was very angry. Then when they were going in the forest, he saw one hole was there covered by leaves, like a well. Then he pushed him down, that minister, and minister was down now in that well and could not go out by himself. Then king said, everything happens by the will of Supreme Lord. It is for the good of all. Everything is his grace. Then prime minister, yes, without the will of Krishna, without him sanctioning, you cannot push me into this well. It is not possible. Then king became more angry. Oh, you don't give up this stubborn mentality. If I don't rescue you, who will rescue you? Your God will rescue you from here. Then prime minister said, if God wants to rescue me, then you can rescue me. You can be instrumental. If God does not want to rescue me, you cannot rescue me. Everything depends on God. Then king became more angry and then he said, then you die here. You die. I'm going. You die. Then because he was so angry, and anger makes a person blind. Lust makes a person blind. When you are fully in lust, then you don't see properly. Also, when you are too much angry, you are not able to see properly things. You are bewildered by that. Then king was going in the forest, but he could not see. Some robbers were there who were searching for a man, because before that they could steal some property and they were very happy. They were worshippers of Kali and they were very happy they could get good loot, means good amount they stole. Then they were very happy and they thought, today we will not offer goat to Kali for her satisfaction, but we'll offer one man. She will be more happy. One man we will sacrifice for her. And they were thinking, how we'll get one man in village. So they were going, and then they saw one man, he's walking here in the forest, alone. So they thought, oh, Kali is very merciful. She herself sent us one man, and he looks very strong, is very good. By her grace, we got one man. So they suddenly jumped on him from all sides, and king was blind because too much angry. He could not defend himself, so they caught him, and they brought him to that Kali temple, and they gave to Pujari, today you have to offer this man. Then Pujari said, okay, first he should be given bath. So then they put him in one tank for bathing, and when they brought him to that Pujari, where he will put his head on that thing which will hold the head, that time Pujari saw that there is some blood coming from the finger of king. And then he said, it is according to Shastra, if beast to be offered has some injury, then it will not be good result. It is inauspicious. Should not offer such animals, such beast or man. He said, still I can do it if you want, but I'm telling you in advance that the result will not be auspicious. Because Pujari, he does not mind. Anyway, he will get money. But he told them that not good result. Then they released the king. Then the king was going, and somehow he found to his kingdom, and then he was thinking, yes, Prime Minister was right. Because I only cut my finger, I was rescued from being cut, my head. So really, it was for the best. Then he was regretting and repenting. Then he sent his own men to bring that, to rescue Prime Minister from that well, and brought him, and he came. Then king was very humble, and he was begging for forgiveness. I am sorry, I pushed you down because I was so angry, but what you said is true. This thing happened, so it is true. So sorry. Then king said, but I don't understand what was good for you that I pushed you there down. Like everything what is happening by the will of Krishna is for the best of all. I don't know what was best for you. Then immediately Prime Minister said, yes, it was the best for me. I was pushed down in that well. So yes, there was some loss, but I was rescued from greater loss. If I would be with you, then when they would see you are cut, they will release you, but they will take me and cut off my head. So it was good for me that you pushed me down in that well. Everything what is happening by the will of Supreme Lord is for the best of all. But only pure devotees, they can perceive this. So Gurudev told that those pure devotees, they have such a vision, but we should also not calculate only bodily benefit. There is mental and also spiritual, everything has to be seen, how it is for the best. And usually we don't see it immediately. It takes some time and also proper perception. So Gurudev told this is one actually condition given in that verse, Tatenu Kampam. One should see the grace of Supreme Lord in all circumstances, Next condition is you should not blame anyone for your miseries because you are reaping the fruits of your own actions. Krishna is the only one who is giving result. And rightly, he is omniscient. He does not commit any mistake. And he knows everything what everyone did in past all the time. So he's giving the fruit. Others may be instrumental, but they are not the cause. So you should not blame anyone for your own suffering. This is the second condition. Tatenu kampam susamikshamanam. Bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. It is by my own action I'm getting no fruit. Then when these two conditions are there, we can see how Krishna is all good. And no one to be blamed. You don't blame anyone, even not Krishna. And then with such attitude, when someone, then only one will be able to offer himself fully for the service of Krishna by body, mind and speech. Otherwise some other issue will be there, so he cannot completely submit or engage himself in the service of Krishna. But if these three conditions are there, then surely he will get eternal abode of Krishna, such pure devotee. So sometimes we don't see why something is happening and how it is good, but real devotees, they can see. So this minister told, you don't know what you did in your past. You don't know what will happen in future. By seeing your present loss, don't be disturbed, because it is lessened by Krishna's mercy. So one who has purified heart, he can perceive how Krishna is all good. So here, Subhadra, she knew that without Krishna's sanction, her son Abhimanyu could never have been killed. Yet her prema for Krishna was not affected. This is the symptom of prema. So real devotees, they can see nothing can happen without the sanction of Krishna, and Krishna is all good. What is happening or what happened, it is for the best of all. If we cannot see this, then we cannot attain pure devotion. Once in Calcutta, our Gurudev was going from Tulsi, watering Tulsi towards his room. Then he saw me there and he asked me, how are you? Any difficulty? Then I said, no, now no difficulty. Then we said, now? Then I said, yes, now, at this moment, I have no difficulty. At other times, I have. Or I had, or like this. But now, no, not. Then Gurudev said, you should think, God is gracing you in all circumstances, all the time, always. Always God is gracing you, you should think. Otherwise, there would be some mistake in God. Then only by hand, like this he showed, but there is no mistake. Then he went into his room, means God is all good. There is no fault in him, no mistake, and he is all good, all merciful. But we are unable to perceive that if we are not having that purified vision as it is. we think this is not correct. What is going on, it is not correct. It should be like this. But it is not like that. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj also explained this verse many times, Tatenu Kampam, from different examples and angles and everything. He also said that that you have to perceive. That is why pure devotees, they are always optimistic, not pessimistic. But another point I wanted to say, now I forgot. I forgot one point he's making in this Tatenu Kampans. Maybe it will come. Then next, following prema is pranaya. Atha vishrambha tishayatmaka prema pranaya yasmin jate sambramadi yogya tayam apitat abhava. When prema is imbued with an exceptional feeling of intimacy, known as vishrambha, it is called pranaya. Vishrambha means intimacy. When pranaya is present, there is a complete absence of awe and reverence towards the beloved, even in the midst of a circumstance which would normally evoke such feelings. A vivid example of this is given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Surais Tripurajim Mukher Api Vidhiyamanastuter Api Prartayatah Paramadika Parameshtya Shriyam Dadhat Pulakinam Harer Adi Shirodi Savyam Pujam Samas Kuruta Pangshulan Shirasi Chandrakan Arjuna. I did not remember that point, which I had remembered another point. Sridhar Maharaj said, we should not see only that it is by my own karma this is happening, so no one to be blamed. But we should see that grace of Krishna is behind it, because he sanctioned it. It is necessary for me, for my rectification, for my purification. It is most beneficial for me. This one point he's explained, but another point I had in mind that did not yet come. So here in this verse, even though Tripurari, that is Lord Shiva, accompanied by the other devas, approached Sri Krishna and began to offer prayers, proclaiming his supreme opulence and supremacy, his cowherd friend Arjuna lovingly placed his left arm on Krishna's shoulder and flicked the dust from the peacock feather which adorned his head. Srila Jiva Goswami mentions in his commentary to this verse that such a pastime should be understood to have occurred after the killing of some demon. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Ṭhākura mentions that this occurred in Braja and that the Arjuna referred to is a Priya Narma Saka. I was thinking how Arjuna, that Bhagavad Gita, or that Pandava Arjuna will have contact with Krishna's peacock feather. I was thinking this. Then Jiva Goswami is explaining that is Arjuna of Braja. You will find Raya Ramananda, 5 personalities in him. Arjuna, Pandava, then Arjuna Priya Narma Saka, then Arjuniya Gopi. Arjuna Pandava became transformed into Arjuniya Gopi. It is stated in maybe Padma Purana. Then Vishaka and some say Lalita, and some means 5 there. So one of them is this Arjuna Priyanarmasaka of Brajadham. This pranaya is the very life of Sakya Rasa. Its basis is the sense of deep faith, devoid of reverence, known as Vishramba. Vishramba is defined as the feeling of being identical with the beloved. Such a feeling causes one to consider one's mind, life, intelligence, body, and possessions to be one with the mind, life, intelligence, body, and possessions of the beloved. The feeling of oneness being referred to means that out of great love, one feels equally at ease with the beloved as one does with oneself, and this feeling is mutually experienced. Now that point came of Śrīla Maharaj. He said, we should try to do what is favorable for devotion. We should try. That does not mean like we will, everything is Krishna's grace, so I can do whatever I like. No, we will try to do good works. Good works, devotion, we will try. But if something happens, already it happened, then we should know that Krishna's sanction is there and it is for the good. Like I saw our Gurudev, when they were translating this book Chaitanya's Associates from Bengali to English. So first they brought first part to Gurudev of two parts there, first part, and Gurudev was checking and he approved it. Then without bringing second part also to check, they maybe just thought, okay, anyhow he already approved first part, so then they brought already the whole book. I was there in 2002 in our Calcutta Mat in Gurudev's Bhajan Kutir, the one who was in charge of publishing. So he already brought the book to Gurudev, printed. Then Gurudev was seeing. Then he saw that at the end of all those personal associates, which Gurudev wrote biographies, they also put his biography of Gurudev. Then Gurudev said, oh, you should not do this. This should not be there. I am conditioned soul, and also how like Gurudev will write a book of personal associates and then he himself will write his own biography. Then we say no. Then after telling them that this is not right, but then next moment Gurudev said, by the will of Krishna, what to do. So Gurudev immediately adjusted because now it was already done. But before that, like Sridhar Maharaj told, that does not mean that we will think everything what happens by the will of Krishna is for the good of all, so I can do whatever I like, anyhow it will. That is not proper. We should try to do proper actions. But when something will already happen, if outwardly looks like it is bad, then we should see the Krishna sanction, so it is good for something. We don't realize now, but it is good. But that should not be as an excuse, like everything is good, excuse that we will not do our actions properly. That was also one very important point Sridhar Maharaj explained along with this verse. So tomorrow we will continue here with man. Now we came Rati, then Prema, then Pranaya. Pranaya means Sakya. Rati means Shanta. Then further is Prema, means Dasya. Now we read Pranaya, that is Sakya. Now Man will come, that is the Gopis. And also Sneha, that is in Vatsalya Bhav. Then Anurag and then Bhav or Mahāprabhu. So how this is developing, and with examples from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu from different. There are examples that we'll hear tomorrow.